What is going on, everybody? It is episode 618 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I am here once again with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. Today we are joined with Phil. Hello.
Hello, everybody.
That was loud.
Yes.
That was a lot.
Sorry about that. My name is Phil Labonte, and I have a mouthful of
Chocolate? Is
food.
that what you were at?
Food?
Is it a chocolate bar?
One of those, whatever, the protein bar things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tonight we're going to see Furiosa, and I'm excited about all the food I'm going to eat in the theater.
She's never excited about the movie. She's excited about all the food that she's going to illegally consume while at the theater.
Illegally? What are you talking about?
Well, technically against rules.
It's against the rules, not the law.
Yes. Okay.
I like breaking the rules and the law.
Yeah. So we're gonna talk about a lot of things today, but I am excited to go see Furiosa, though. To be fair, maybe not as excited as I would have been maybe a couple of years ago before Hollywood went the way it did. But I think it's going to be good. It's going to be interesting. I did read a couple of reviews, which I don't normally do beforehand. But I rewatched Fury Road, which I hadn't seen since, a long time ago, and it holds up very, very well. It's fantastic as an action movie, but prequels are always a hard sell to me, and no Tom Hardy, no Charlize Theron. I'm not the biggest Anya Taylor-Joy fan.
Why?
I don't really have an opinion why.
Is it just because of her eye distance?
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's what it is like when she's looking out into the distance at all of the cars, I don't know which car each eye is looking at.
That's so mean,
Yeah.
Brett.
Yeah.
What is that phenomenon?
Men are never going to understand why Anya Taylor-Joy is beautiful.
I'm not saying she's not a beautiful lady. I'm just making fun of her because I don't really care for her acting. But we're gonna go see that tonight, and we will have a review for you guys out on Saturday. We'll try to rate it on its own merits, but it's very hard to live up to the action sequences that were obviously in Fury Road. So we'll talk about that on Saturday. What are we going to talk about today? Well, actually, no. Before we get started, guys, hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel, please, if you have not done so already. We've seen some great growth lately. We passed 114,000 subscribers, so thank you very much for that. And remember to share this video with your friends, because that is the best way that you can help this channel grow, is by sharing these segments and these episodes with everyone so they can share it with their friends.
Still no play button.
No play button yet from YouTube. There is shenanigans going on.
They take a long time.
That's what I've been told, but I mean, it's been months now.
I know the All That Remains one took a long time, but I think that had to do with India and licensing in India. So.
Okay.
I don't think we have those issues.
I don't imagine you would. No.
Yeah. So
I was expecting it by now.
But guys, also remember, all super chats $20 and over. We will interrupt the discussion. We will read those super chats right then and there, and then we will get back on topic. We will do our best. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, as the description box for this episode tells you, there is a George Floyd biopic in the works. It was just announced last night, so we are going to discuss that. We are going to talk about these poor ladies. There's an epidemic of millennial women who just can't seem to find themselves a man, and Mary brought up some videos for
our viewing pleasure.
For our viewing pleasure. So we're going to talk about that. Also, could you yourself be an autosexual? Let me explain. Yes, that was my face when I read this first too. Kourtney Kardashian, a couple months ago, I can't believe we missed this one, came out as what is called autosexual, which means that you're sexually
attracted to cars.
No, sadly, that would make sense if you were going to see a Mad Max movie, but that's not going to be the case here. It means that you're really into yourself, sexually attracted to yourself.
Mm-mm.
I hate it.
Yep. You will live to see man-made horrors beyond your comprehension. Yes. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to watch the Beetlejuice trailer, and we're going to talk a little bit about the 50 Cent documentary about Diddy that he just sold off to Netflix and then spent the next few days clowning both Netflix clowning both TMZ and Diddy.
He's Fortnite dancing all over TMZ and Diddy.
I really do get a kick out of 50 Cent. He's hilarious. So we got that. We got a bunch of other stuff. So if you guys are ready, we will get right into it. Mary, are you ready?
Let's go.
Phil?
Let's go.
He's ready. Let's go. First things first, guys, let's watch the Beetlejuice trailer first. You guys can let us know what your thoughts are on this, because this just dropped today. So it's coming out September 6th. So we will put it up here and tell us what you think in the comments when we're done.
Here's a preview. Be warned, it's intense.
I can't believe Grandpa's dead.
Death is hard.
Yeah, sometimes I think life is harder.
Deep, bro. That was deep.
was a teenager, a trickster demon terrorized our entire family and tried to force me to marry him. I believed he was gone forever until you found this in the attic.
Ew. Who's Beetlejuice?
Don't ever say that name.
Beetlejuice.
No, Astrid, I am serious. If you say his name 3 times, he will appear.
Beetlejuice.
The juice is loose. I'm gonna make you so happy.
The living. The dead. Can they coexist? That's what we're here to find out.
Where's Beetlejuice?
Where's Beetlejuice?
Beetlejuice.
Feel free to express yourselves. Don't be afraid.
You're a figment of my imagination.
Really? Is this a figment of your imagination?
I mean, look. Yes. I can't say that I wouldn't want to watch that.
Yeah.
I mean,
It doesn't look bad.
Yeah.
You know what my favorite thing is? Okay, so there's 2 actresses that I still can't believe are like have had this career renaissance. One is Catherine Hahn, who's from Agatha from Marvel, and she went on to be successful. The other one's Catherine O'Hara, who was, you know, the mom from Home Alone. And she's had
And Argyle. More
and other such
importantly.
things. She's went on to have like this very, very successful career. It's never the ones you expect to go on to big things.
For a second, I was like, is that Molly Ringwald?
No, it's the mom from Home Alone. That's the thing though. But I know her name, and that's what's really impressive is I know what her name is. Whereas the dad from Home Alone will always just be the dad from Home Alone.
Yeah, I don't know who he is.
He's actually like a very he's been in a lot of television, but he'll never have a name. He'll always be the dad from Home Alone. Just like Hector from the Fast and the Furious will always be Hector from the Fast and the Furious. He's played a character named Hector like 8 times.
That's funny.
Yes, but it was good, and it had atmosphere, and the practical effects were good. It was fun.
You mean in this trailer?
Yes, yeah, oh yeah. There's stuff in the beginning there in the miniature it was fun, and I was never like Beetlejuice was not before my time, but not something that I.
When did it come out?
What is it, like the late 80s?
Yeah, 80s definitely.
Yeah. So
I never watched it.
Somebody can let us know what year Beetlejuice actually came out. But they got Jenna Ortega, who is a very, very big thing right now, and she's kind of pigeonholed herself into a weird genre, in a way.
Well, yeah, she was in Scream, obviously Wednesday, the X trilogy.
John Hurd was the dad, and thank you. I should have remembered the dad from Home Alone.
Miller's Girl wasn't this type of movie.
Correct.
It wasn't a goth kid movie.
But I guess when you think of Scream and you think of Wednesday, when you think of her, she'll have to move on to do something completely the opposite of this next.
Well, she started out with Nickelodeon, didn't she?
The other thing that she needs to do is to never do superhero stuff. Like Glenn Powell. Just say no.
Yeah, I think she probably takes herself too seriously to
Just say no.
to do that.
I feel like now it's just become a thing where it's the older actors that have nothing going on that are like, I'm joining the MC. Just don't do it.
Or Taylor Swift.
Don't do that either.
Or Rachel Zegler.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Like you're better off, right? You're better off than pigeonholing yourself in something where you're not going to have any creative freedom anyways.
I gave it some more thought, and Taylor Swift joining the MCU feels like the most hollow corporate sludge I've ever heard of.
It was, or it is.
What's she gonna play in the end? What's she gonna do?
The Blonde Phantom?
Or Dazzler.
Or
Dazzler's
Dazzler.
a singer. Who,
It makes more sense if she's going to be Dazzler, because I don't, like, that would be a cameo in the Deadpool movie that's coming up. But they're saying Blonde Phantom is getting made into a TV show for Disney Plus, and I'm like, how the hell did you pay for Taylor Swift to be on set?
Imagine
for
how much
months?
money she would be losing not.
There's
like,
no
doing-
way, right? It's got to be a cameo.
All right, so Beetlejuice looks good. We'll have to wait and see. I think we'll go and see this one. We've got some other stuff coming up. What do we have after this? We have Deadpool after Furiosa.
Yeah, I have them written down somewhere.
We've got a list of the stuff that we're gonna go and see, so we'll have to wait and see on that. But if you guys were paying attention to, I did reviews for the show Reacher season 2, and I really enjoyed season 1. Well, they have cast a new character for Reacher season 3 from the books, a character named Polly, who is described as being much taller and bigger than Jack Reacher, outweighing him by 200 pounds.
Yeah.
I don't know if he outweighs Alan Richardson by 200 pounds, but the dude's
Still quite a lot.
The dude is 7'2". So
Yeah.
he's 6 inches or 7 inches
300
taller.
something pounds. So, I mean, impressive.
Yes.
He has some condition, right? Like, that's got to be some kind of... That must make your life so difficult.
Yeah, it's got to
Like-
be horrible. Like, I mean, look. Like,
Look at this photo of him on the plane.
our guitar player, Ollie, our old guitar player, he passed away a couple years back, but he was 6'3", I think. And he would hit every time he got on a plane, he hit his head. He was always miserable flying. Like, it didn't
Yeah.
help that he was cheap and he would never spring for better seats. But yeah, he was hit his head all the time, and he was miserable.
The world is not made for tall people.
It's not made for giants, no.
Not
like,
for giants
If
either.
if you're 6 foot, you can get away with it. But like once you get over 6 foot, you're into danger zone with you're getting your head bashed into stuff.
And the thing is like the whole point of the show is that they constantly make reference to Reacher being enormous. So the idea here is to have someone finally meet his match.
It's not his match, though.
But
It's his Goliath.
The problem is they've got a bigger Goliath that they have to tackle, and that's the absolutely ridiculous social media behavior of Alan Ritchson, who has kind of ruined people's enthusiasm for the show right now.
I saw some comments like that saying, well, it's too bad Alan Ritchson has ruined his career by not shutting his mouth. But I don't think that the majority of people have any awareness of that.
We'll have to wait and see. We will have to wait and see whether that affects the it won't matter anyways, because Reacher is a streaming show, so they don't have to tell you the numbers anyways.
True.
They'll always be like, it was the most popular show in the world at 7 p.m. on a Friday on a streaming service.
People don't pay attention to celebrity interviews as much as they think.
Yeah.
Really.
And
And the amount of people who say they're going to boycott is even smaller.
that's why I never boycott anything.
And the amount of people who actually follow through on the boycott, they said they were going to boycott, is
Yeah.
even smaller than that. So it'll be fine for him.
It'll make for some interesting material to have the character who's always towering over everybody. I hope they have to do the shot where he runs into the guy's chest and then has to look up. Have you ever seen that meme of like the girl who says, my boyfriend just sent me this picture while we were arguing, and it's like he takes a picture of his girlfriend looking up at
That's
him while
how you
she's
look.
yelling at him and says like, this is how it looks when you yell at me, and she's just like the absolute disrespect.
No wonder he can't take me seriously.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, and if you're wondering what this guy was in, he was in Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
What?
Maybe for just a scene. I don't remember his character at all. But he was also in Black Widow. And a
That's
couple other
interesting
things.
because you'd think if he were in a movie,
stand
the
out.
point of his character would be being large.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't remember him from anything.
Yep. All right. Let's move on. So you said that this was maybe the most exploitative thing you've seen today.
Maybe not exploitative. I just think it's kind of sick and not in the good way of the word.
Well, that word's kind of gone out of fashion. You know,
Yeah.
nobody really uses sick as a positive anymore.
I
Gypsy
do all
Rose
the time.
Blanchard.
Me and you are of the generation that still uses sick as a
Sick.
good.
We have talked about Gypsy Rose Blanchard before, but in case you need a refresher, she is the girl who arranged the murder of her mother, who was basically holding her captive, and they were in a Munchausen's by proxy situation where she was kept in a wheelchair, given feeding tubes, etc. Yeah, she found a boyfriend on the internet, and he came
As
to
one
her
does.
house and murdered her mother.
All of these women that we're going to talk about not being able to find boyfriends, and she finds one somehow?
If Gypsy can do it, anyone can.
Sounds like a skill issue.
So yeah, she was just recently released from prison earlier this year, and now she
Became a
has a
celebrity.
cameo in the Kardashians.
Hi, Gypsy.
Why?
Season 5.
Why does this exist?
Hi, mother murder lady. Like,
It just feels
to real life.
too. I don't know. Like, why is Gypsy doing this to herself? I hope she got a good paycheck and everything, but As you said, it just doesn't matter why someone is relevant. If they're relevant, then the Kardashians will subsume them.
Yeah.
The logical question is like, okay, I'm supposed to buy into this. What does a Gypsy Rose and a Kim Kardashian talk about, really?
Having crazy moms.
I guess.
They have a lot in common.
Yeah, okay, yeah. That's just like, actually, that would be the great bit, would be like Kim Kardashian, like, oh my God, my mom's so crazy too.
Well, Kim can be like, what is Bruce Jenner to her? Or Caitlyn Jenner. That Caitlyn's not.
That would be a stepdad to Kim.
Yeah.
Would it be
Yeah.
Step.
Well, her
Something.
Kim's stepdad killed someone, so
That
they
is
could
true.
They could talk
That
about
is
that.
true.
Yeah.
Stuff.
They got
They
that going
probably
for
have a
them.
lot in common. I think Kim is going to Gypsy to, commiserate about what it's like to have a crazy mom.
Yep. And not understand how tone deaf that would sound. I guess that's not true. When you're just like, oh my gosh, you had to off your mom. My mom sold my first sex tape.
Gypsy doesn't have a mom anymore.
True.
She doesn't have to worry about crazy moms anymore.
Gypsy needs advice on how to be famous.
That is, I mean, that's an actual conversation they could have, or like discuss plastic surgeons. 'Cause
That
she had
too.
The
Yeah.
rhinoplasty. So. All right, it's depressing. Speaking of Miss Swift, which you did mention, it says Taylor Swift's Lisbon tour rider revealed. Star demands dressing room filled with Swarovski crystals. Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Okay. At least 100 bottles of wine and a daily delivery of iced tea and pumpkin bread. Where's the green M&Ms? No green M&Ms.
So, like, the crystal is extravagant. Everything else is super mundane.
Okay.
like being like considering the size of her touring
100
party,
bottle of wine,
100 bottles of
completely
wine
normal.
is not a lot. She's probably got like, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if she has like 200 people on her crew alone, like the whole crew, and then their guests, their friends, all the people that come in. So that it's not surprising, and they're playing stadiums. They're not playing, they're not even playing civic centers, right? They're not playing 10,000, 15,000, 20,000. These are 50,000, 60,000 people that are going to see your shows.
Where the hell does the term civic center come from anyway? Because it's always called the civic center, right? Like, where that term comes from.
I don't know, but
Maybe the wine is all grocery store wine. It's all barefoot.
I mean,
boxed wine.
Yeah, it's all boxed wine.
It could
so
be.
it's low cost.
It could
no,
be.
but I mean, I think the crystals are actually because they're all on her guitar and all of her costumes. So 1,000 of
Wait,
those
so they're
would
using
be like
real
a handful.
crystals and not
Yeah.
costumes?
oh yeah, that's what it could
That's
be too.
what it's
That's
all for.
absolutely true. Yeah. So honestly,
This
there's-
is all totally reasonable.
Yeah, none of that sounds like it's extravagant in any way, considering the size of the shows
So
she's
they
playing.
use real crystals and not costume jewelry
I assume,
for those?
yeah. Because I'm sure they fall off and they need to be replaced.
Wouldn't that be a reason to use costume jewelry?
They don't look the same.
Okay.
It matters. It's
Does
the
it matter?
experience of the era's
Half
tour.
Well, I
the
mean,
people
the
there
thing
are
is-
crying while they're watching her
She's the
anyways.
dazzler after all.
Look, and what's going to happen is those costumes, they're going to go to auctions, and they're going to go to like whether it be like, I don't know about Hard Rock, but they're going to be on display. They're not going to just get tossed away. So like the fact that they're made of quality things, like that matters. Like the
Yeah.
fact that it's like, okay, if it's just like, plastic, they're just like, oh, she was wearing plastic on the tour. Like,
It's not crystal meth, guys.
It was like generated literally billions of dollars, had an actual effect, an impact on the U.S. economy, and they're going to go ahead and be like, oh, she was wearing
It'll be
plastic.
displayed like the Marilyn Monroe dress.
See, I like
Yeah.
that more in the idea. It's like, well, she's made all this money, but she was cheap and frugal, and that's a good thing. You can spin
why it's
that.
boxed wine.
You can spin that. Yeah.
Well, Phil, what is your
real
most,
crystals, boxed wine?
Phil, what's your most diva demand or diva demand for your dressing rooms? Specifically.
There's never been anything particularly super diva. There are I want Fiji waters, but I want Fiji water because the bottles that they come in are they're still made of a thick piece of plastic, and so they're sturdy.
Yeah.
So if I'm on stage and I grab them, because I only have so much time before I have to sing again. If I grab it and I try and get a drink real quick, it doesn't collapse, because a lot of times if you just have bottled water, they'll get the cheapest stuff that they can get, and the way they save money is they have the thinnest plastic. So if I'm on stage and I got to grab it like that, goes everywhere and stuff. So specifically, I want Fiji water or something like that. Those are the kind of extravagant things.
That's why you need a Stanley Cup.
I mean, that's not a bad idea. But
bring a
then
Stanley
people will be
Cup
like, oh, Phil's a
on
woman.
I do miss the
Covered
the
in
days
Swarovski
when,
crystals.
There you go.
I do miss the days when we had like the cheap bottled water here that like we would just crush them and throw them away when we were done.
It was
Saved
satisfying.
Saved on space all the time. Now we've got the
Glass bottles.
The glass bottled water.
Glasses are actually better, but
Yeah.
that's probably we don't do anything like silly, extravagant. There might be weird things sometimes the guys ask for, but there's always like a reason. If you talk to them, it'll be like, oh, I need it for this thing or whatever. But
Like I have green M&M trauma. I can't look at green M&Ms.
Yeah, we don't
It'll
have
give
anything
me
like that.
PTSD flashbacks.
no, we don't have anything like that. And we like if someone comes on the crew and they're like a vegan or a vegetarian, it's like, look, you're responsible for figuring out your own BS. Like we'll make sure there's food for everybody and stuff, but it's like we're
no
not gonna
talent terrorists.
Yeah, we're not exactly. Like, yeah, I ain't sending a runner to get your specific vegan stuff.
I
Beat
had a
it.
friend who, when he would go on tour, like back in like the early 2000s, back before healthy eating was as common as it is now here in America, he was a vegetarian and later went vegan and would go on tour. And one of the hardest things you can do is when you're 19 years old and you're health conscious about food and everybody else isn't.
You're broke.
And you're broke. You know, eating was a lot harder for him whenever we would be out of town. So
The broke part is one of the biggest things. Even because, as you said, it's like now it's easier to find places, but they're still not cheap.
Yeah.
It's still way cheaper to go
he's
to.
like going to a gas station and finding
Yeah,
things
no.
that I can eat was very, very difficult.
You're doomed.
back
You're
then.
doomed.
So.
Being vegan as a man sounds hellish. Because, like, men need protein.
You're not a man if you're vegan.
I mean, basically, yeah.
He was. I don't think he was a vegan at that. I think he was a vegetarian at that time.
Still.
But you know. But we've got more to discuss here. In disconnected from reality news today, actress Cate Blanchett, who is worth supposedly, according to the internet, $95 million, has declared herself middle class.
Compared to who? Jeff Bezos?
Yes, that is the question.
This was during a press conference for a new movie, Rumors. And she said,
Why is she wearing the serial killer glasses?
You know that stuff
That is odd.
I mean, look, they're not going to get her exact like net worth, but
if
still.
it's any millions of dollars,
You're not middle class.
She's not
No.
middle class.
She was discussing her experience with refugee filmmakers. She said, I'm white, I'm privileged, I'm middle class, and I think one can be accused of having a bit of a white savior complex.
Now I want to explain what
So
people
you're calling
were.
yourself privileged and middle class.
I want to explain what I read as the excuse for this, which is apparently that in the UK, class structure is considered different from wealth, supposedly, and it's lower class or poor, middle class, royalty. And I
No.
said that is the ultimate cope answer
No.
I've ever heard in my entire life.
There's like working class, there's middle class, which is actually middle class is wealthier than like the middle class in the US, but it's not like 95 million. No.
Yeah, they
No.
said middle
No.
class is British slang where it refers to heritage and family status rather than wealth. She's speaking of her class, not her bank balance. Class and money are different. She might consider herself middle class because she isn't royalty.
I just don't buy that.
I don't care.
I don't
Brits
buy
say
that.
middle class, they mean rich. Apparently, Brits have three social spheres: poor, middle class, and royalty. The first one encompasses nearly everyone. I think they mean middle class.
There's a working class in England too. Like there's a working class in the UK as well. So it's not exact. I don't know what they're talking
Victor
about.
White says middle class is bourgeoisie.
I heard that the royal
Yeah.
family doesn't even have that much money, like liquid money.
Really?
So that maybe the middle class is actually richer than the royalty, but that sounds like a BS excuse.
I mean, it's very common for celebrities to be. My favorite were the videos whenever they would get a rich person to try and guess the price of food or beverages or.
Oh yeah, a box of Frosted Flakes, $12.
I mean, it's not that far off now.
Not now, yes, but when
Yes.
they were originally doing that, it wasn't.
Yeah, and I laugh at this because celebrities will always try their hardest to try to appeal to the fans in this type of way, but never just admitting that, like, look, who is it we're always talking about? Gwyneth Paltrow. Mm-hmm. Just
unashamedly out of touch,
completely disconnected from the average person, and all the more likable for it because she doesn't pretend to be.
Yeah, I think she's great.
Yes.
love Goop.
I don't
Stan.
like it when somebody who has that much wealth pretends to be like the average everyday person. If anything, it always goes back to what I say. You should be willing to let the general public poke fun at you and have a joke, because it makes you more relatable. It's why I always say that Mean Tweets was the most successful thing any late night show ever did, because it brought the celebrities down a peg, because celebrities were never supposed to be seen as of a higher class anyways. That's why the court jester was allowed to mock the king, right? Because he gave the king perspective.
Well, are Hollywood celebrities the court jesters now?
No, because they work hand in hand with the court jesters.
YouTubers are the court jesters.
Yeah, that could be true. That could be true. And for her, she's a very successful actress, but her activism and stuff, her and Charlize Theron and a lot of them like that, they're known a lot for that stuff as well now too. So.
Charlize Theron and her trans children.
Yeah, and stuff like that. So just beware, guys. If you make a lot of money, do anything but try to pretend like you're not who you are. Yeah. All right. Look, I've kind of changed my mind a little bit on Deadpool versus Wolverine. So my initial take on Deadpool versus Wolverine was I don't want to see it, because I loved the send-off that they gave the Wolverine character in Logan so much that I did not find this movie to be necessary. I still don't, but given the fact that the 2024 movie slate has been less than stellar so far, I'm actually a bit looking forward to Ryan Reynolds doing a Ryan Reynolds thing, Hugh Jackman getting to play, Wolverine again in the actual costume. But what's not looking good right now is it seems the ticket sales aren't catching up to where they thought it would be. So here's what it says. Deadpool and Wolverine ticket sales are not doing as good as they thought, according to Fandango. It says, we got some insights into the ticket sales for Deadpool and Wolverine, which went on sale Monday, which we should be picking up here today or tomorrow. And it might not be all that good because it's not reaching the levels of Spider-Man, No Way Home, or Avengers films. And really, I think that it should be. Like, it maybe not to Avengers level, but it should at least be coming somewhat close to Spider-Man level, because this is all they've got. This is the only thing that Marvel really has going for it right now that has any type of general interest from normies who are not Marvel diehards.
Well, they phrased it as Fandango's best first day ticket sales for 2024.
For an R-rated movie.
For an R-rated movie.
How many caveats can you put on it before we just admit that that's not a real thing? The biggest opening of the year has been Dune Part 2 with $82.5 million, and it ended its box office run with $859 million. The first Deadpool opened to $132 million with a $782 million worldwide gross, and the second one opened to $125 million with a $730 worldwide gross. Look, they should be looking to get at least $125 million, especially with inflation.
I think maybe the hints about Taylor Swift getting a cameo were dropped at just the right time to get the Swiftie money.
Yeah. So it says this is what they didn't say. They said it says what they didn't say is their best pre-sale numbers in a certain amount of years, or even if it's made their top 10. Last year, Taylor Swift took the #1 spot.
Exactly.
Yes.
See?
They didn't mention anything about Deadpool and Wolverine making their top 10. That's interesting. Usually they like to tout those types of things because they think it drives sales if it looks like it's doing good, right?
Do you think that they're going to reach Avengers level box office?
No. I would like to. I mean, it should. Like, if it doesn't make near Dune, they got a problem. Because what was, if you might even be able to check
I
it now.
expected Dune 2 to perform better than that, actually.
$859 million is good. I mean, it's close. It's getting close to $1 billion. What was it that Guardians of the Galaxy 3 made? It was like $830 million or something like that.
I thought it was closer to $1 billion, but I could be wrong.
Can you look it up? It needs to make at least Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 money if they want to make this worthwhile. It should not be making less than that. And I don't think it's going to. If 730 is what they did before, I feel like with inflation, they should jumping those numbers, but it's probably going to end up around the same box office in the $700 million range. But that's not as good because with inflation, that means that's less ticket sales.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
This says Guardians of the Galaxy 3 grossed 118.4 million opening weekend.
What was the total box office?
Totally, it says 844 million.
So it's off by about $15 million. Yeah. So here's the other thing. This now has Marvel behind it. This isn't a 20th Century Fox Marvel movie. This is supposedly this is an MCU Marvel movie, and that matters. So they should be pulling in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 numbers, but I don't think it's going to. I think it ends up in the mid 700s.
I don't really understand how normies feel about Marvel now, because all I hear is I stopped watching at Endgame.
Yeah, from a lot of people, they lost interest.
I don't know if they even are aware that it's continued past that point.
My hope is that the R rating for it and the novelty of being a Disney R-rated movie will drive some box office sales.
It's gonna be effing awesome, guys.
It is very Reddit.
It's gonna be effing awesome. The trailer was extremely Reddit, which I hate.
Mary
but maybe
hates that.
normies like that.
Look, and I think they do.
But I always bring up my real world, eavesdropping, which is that, like, this lady said, "Oh, they're still making those? They're still making Marvel movies? I thought they just stopped at Endgame."
A lot of people believe that. So it needs to make at least in the $700 million range. Otherwise, it's a total failure if it can't even reach the $700 million range with inflation the way that it is. So we'll wait and see how that goes. But if it does well, that could bode well for them trying to do more R-rated movies. But doing an R-rated comedy superhero movie is vastly different than, say, trying to do like an R-rated Punisher movie or Blade or whatever. But Blade is I don't think Blade will end up being as what do they call this? A hard R. It'll be more for blood and gore, if anything, rather than crude sex jokes, which are what you expect from a Deadpool movie.
The Swifties, I think, are going to save the MCU with this one. I'm gonna call it now.
I mean, it fits right into the theme of like Ryan Reynolds. So
Yes.
we'll have to wait and see.
Look, man, I would like to see the MCU do good stuff. I like good things.
You don't want to see them fail?
I would rather.
There's not like even a little part of you that's like,
I feel like they've already failed a lot. Like, everybody's been dunking on them forever, and like the numbers and like the only failure, I feel like the only failure that people are going to be satisfied with is if there was some kind of like they go out of business or whatever, and that's just not going to happen.
No,
like
no.
Disney's not going anywhere. The Marvel's going to be around still,
Yes,
so it's
they're
like
not going anywhere.
they've been beaten up a lot. So if they did start doing good things, I wouldn't mind.
Another thing that I don't know if they really get into it in the article is the reason that Spider-Man No Way Home made the money it did isn't just because of the massive opening weekend ticket sales. It's because word of mouth meant that people were going to see it multiple times, and lots of people that might not necessarily go see the movie went and saw it, and the movie stayed in the top 5 in the box office for a very long time, the same way that Top Gun Maverick did, just with less of a big opening weekend. So depending on how good the word of mouth on the film is, that will drastically affect the box office. Look, in my opinion, the second Deadpool wasn't as good as the original, as much as I love Josh Brolin as Cable. It just wasn't as good as the original. So if they can manage to make a movie that reaches the level that the first one did, it might have the opportunity to make more money. But we'll wait and see. All right, it is time to talk more about what the hell is going on with 50 Cent and Diddy.
yes. 50 Cent was teasing this expose docuseries about Diddy, and it turned out he was deadly serious about doing this.
He was like, this was in the works long before any of this stuff came out.
I guess that he was anticipating a huge public turnaround on Diddy, so he's capitalizing on it.
He's got contacts in the FBI.
After a bidding war, he has finally sold this Diddy doc to Netflix, and yes, it is titled Diddy Do It, and I love that. I love that for him. Now he's just Fortnite dancing on everyone. He's also like made fun of TMZ because of course TMZ does their own docuseries, but they only got theirs on Tubi. He tweeted, "TMZ uses this fat boy picture of me because their doc went to Tubi. LOL. It's okay, guys. We're all making great television. Mine just happens to be the best." Netflix wins the bidding
He
war.
basically said nana nana boo boo.
Yeah, totally.
Netflix sex wins the bidding war, but if more victims keep coming out, I'm going to need more episodes.
Yeah, and so that's actually relevant because another accusation has been made just after the footage came out about Cassie, which of course we talked about earlier this week.
Another lawsuit
from Crystal McKinney.
Yeah, it's a former model. I believe they showed this clip of her on the TMZ article. But the suit claims that in 2003, when she was 22, she was invited to a men's fashion week event in New York City. She met Sean Combs at the event, and he invited her back to his studio. She says shortly after their arrival, Combs and several colleagues were drinking Hennessy and passing around joints. She took a hit, which was, she said, quote, very powerful, and felt as if she was floating. She claims the joint had been laced with a narcotic or other drug. She says Combs then demanded she follow him into the bathroom, where she says he forced himself on her, began kissing her, and shoved her head down to his crotch before commanding her to, quote, suck it. She says she refused, but Combs then pushed her head down and forced oral sex. She started walking away, but then felt woozy and lost consciousness. The next thing she knew, she woke up in a taxi and realized she had been SA'd. It's unclear from the lawsuit if she's referring to the oral sex or another sex act that might have occurred while she was unconscious. And she claims she was subsequently blackballed from the modeling industry, got severely depressed, and attempted suicide in 2004. So she says upon seeing Cassie's lawsuit and Roddy Jones's lawsuit, she knew she had a moral obligation to speak up. And the damages she's seeking are unspecified.
Yeah.
Could be a big payday like Cassie got.
Yeah, I mean, does the idea of moral obligation to speak up, it really shouldn't be
You had
about,
a moral obligation before
I mean,
anyone else spoke up, right?
If this is more about closure for yourself, that's one thing, but I don't know if I buy that the idea is that it's a moral obligation now. But that's immaterial. It doesn't really matter. If it's within the bounds of the law, you have the right to seek damages for what was done to you, but I always feel like it's couched in this language that's supposed to be about virtue signaling.
I'm part of a movement now, and it's like if you knew this guy was a predator this entire time and you didn't speak up, I would say you had a moral obligation before anyone else did.
Yeah.
Maybe that sounds unsympathetic. I don't doubt that this happened because of all the other allegations and the video of him acting like a violent maniac. But again, it's another allegation that comes out 20 years later. And what are we supposed to make of it?
And that's the hardest part of any of these discussions is like you have to at least ask that question, which is why I brought up the idea of the moral nature of it. Like 20 years later, is that really the time to talk about the morality of it? This wouldn't even be possible if there hadn't been amendments to the law that, changed the statute of limitations on things like this.
Genuine question, what are we supposed to do about it?
I mean,
what is the public supposed to do with this information?
The point of putting this out into the public, though, is also to get public sympathy on her side, because that's just a tactic in court. Right?
Do you think she's going to be part of the 50 Cent docuseries?
It was probably already done before she got involved, so I doubt it.
Well, he's saying that he's going to continue making more episodes.
It just keeps going on forever.
It's just a docuseries that never ends.
This is the doc that never ends.
It's the doc that keeps on giving. Love that for 50 Cent, but
pass my
you are profiting off of trauma. You're monetizing trauma coins.
Look, we understand that that's the way of these streamers now. Like a lot of their money is made. Like what was it? Quiet on Set, right? That's true. That's monetizing trauma.
I mean, regardless though, if you read back the way that she tells this story, there were many points at which you should have stopped. Okay. If he invites you back to the studio, it's already obviously something you shouldn't be doing as a lone woman. And then you start doing drugs with these people you don't know. Shouldn't do that. Then you walk into the bathroom with him. I'm understanding she was high already at this point, so her inhibitions are lowered and she's not aware of her surroundings. But you're walking into the bathroom with this guy, and what exactly do you think is going to happen when you get there? He's going to take a wee? I don't know. It's not like
There's still going to be. I still see it in the chat. There's still healthy skepticism on claims like this that have no video or proof. Again, the claim with Cassie is that rare moment where somebody actually gets caught on video and people can make up their mind for themselves.
Well, that one video still doesn't prove the entire list of allegations she made against him. So
correct.
Still, you don't have the evidence for all of that. You have to make a guess, and ultimately, it doesn't matter what's true.
No. Just let it go through the let the court handle it. Do an investigation.
You know who else is getting involved is the city of New York, who is considering removing Diddy's keys to the city. They want to revoke it. He was given the keys to the city, and apparently Mayor Eric Adams is saying that they're considering it. I'm picturing what that would be like. What it actually should be is he instead of taking his key back, they change like a ceremonial lock instead.
No,
can't let Diddy into the city.
they change.
This isn't Diddy's city anymore. We got a $20 from That Stanzatastic. I don't, JoJo, see why Endgame didn't just mean Endgame. Disney be like, we heard you like Endgame, so we endgamed Endgame. While we endgame everyone's interest in Marvel. Marvel video games have been good though.
Okay. Well, I mean, I thought people didn't like the most recent Spider-Man one.
Really?
Maybe I'm wrong about that.
I don't know.
But yeah, so they're looking to revoke his key to the city. I don't think that they said that's never been done before. Nobody's ever had their city key revoked.
Really?
I feel like there's never been a time where like people get punished like retroactively. Like this is the whole like, oh, this came out that he did something 20 years ago. We're gonna take back the Golden Globe Award or whatever. It's like that's never been a thing.
One of the
Roman
worst,
Polanski, he didn't lose any of his accolades.
Yeah, but celebrities virtue. Remember when Tom Cruise gave back Golden Globe Awards because of racism or something?
Yes,
that was the cringiest thing Tom Cruise ever did.
Well, Sean Penn donated his to Zelensky, right?
That is the worst out of all of it. I forgot about that one.
Who says Zelensky even wants that? But anyway, also Will Smith had to give back his Oscars, right?
No.
No?
I don't think so. He's just banned from
They didn't
going.
have the balls to tell him to do that.
No, he's just banned for 10 years.
Okay.
So
he's banned for 10 years.
I like the completely arbitrary number that they come up with.
10 sounds like a lot.
They're like, if he won't learn his lesson in 8 years.
See you in 2032, Will.
Definitely. So this is what he said. He says, I think all of us were deeply disturbed by watching that chilling video of the young lady being assaulted by him. And the committee and the team, we've never rescinded a key before, but we are now sitting down to see what the next step forward should be. He said, we are taking everything under analysis, and the team will come back to me with a final determination.
I don't know if it means anything. It's just symbolic in the first place, and taking it away is just as symbolic.
Well, I mean,
doesn't actually do anything to help the people that he hurt.
But that's actually the point. It's symbolic in the first place, and it's symbolic in the second place.
Yeah.
In the first and the second place.
Exactly. So
in both places.
We'll have to follow what happens to Crystal McKinney, but I imagine a lot more of these claims are going to come out as this continues onwards. And 50 Cent will just be cashing in the whole way. He'll be $1.50 by the time this is all done.
Love it.
Absolutely.
All right. What do you want to see? Cringe or cue of the day?
Oh, the cringe is really good. So I feel like we should do it as a grand finale. Start with cute.
Okay, we'll start with cue of the day first. All right. First one's first. I moved this one over from the other. This is Tommy. That's short for Lord Thomas James of Connell. He's always dressed for the occasion. He's a big fan of All That Remains.
Cheers, man.
I like this video. Just knocks it off the shelf. Look at this.
That's a cat for you.
It doesn't belong there.
That is a cat.
That's his spot.
Yeah.
It's literally like, what are you going to do about it?
Where does he get the audacity?
What are you going to do about it? All right, let's do one more here. Okay, this is from Ashley. It says, you know your kids attend a super small country school when the school pet is a newborn lamb named Flower that needs constant feeding and chases all the kids around during recess.
Aww.
That is amazing.
That sounds like an amazing school.
That is awesome. All right. It is time for the cringe of the day,
Oh, boy.
ladies and gentlemen.
It's so good. I swear it's
Yep.
not even cringe as much as heartwarming.
When Mary saw this, she was like, she literally, her heart grew 3 sizes, and she remembered.
This is why I love Gen Z.
This is why she loves being from the generation she's from.
I'm proud to be Gen Z because of this video.
When I sent this to you, I was like, oh, this looks cringe, but then we saw it, and then... All right, here we go, guys. Remember, this is a strong message to the U.S. government from Gen Z. It's going to leave you quivering in fear.
U.S. government of America, you've made a big mistake. You think you can take away our app? Well, we are the most powerful generation that there ever was. We are Generation Z. We won't let TikTok fall. We will rise above it all. We will save TikTok. Time's running out. Can you hear the clock? Joe Biden, we are ready for war. You want us so bad, and now you want more.
The beaches of Normandy behind them is the most important part.
Perfect.
Who's with
I mean,
me?
this is obviously a theater kid.
This is the most... That's the first thing I thought of. Could have been Aaron Taylor...
He ends just by having a seizure.
I feel
crescendo
like that
at the
was
end.
Aaron Taylor Johnson when he was a kid.
Joe Biden is quaking.
And the beaches of Normandy being stormed in the background truly does
That's
set the
great.
mood for
That's
the
great.
American government's war on TikTok.
This is also why we're not ready for the draft for World War III, but I still love it.
Look, I've changed my mind. Oh no, I have. I guess I didn't want TikTok banned to begin with, but like now I've double not changed my mind. Leave it. Let this kid have his app.
What was his? He did like a Z.
Yeah, that is generation.
That's our.
Z.
That's our symbol.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yep.
That's
Love that.
so bad.
Yep.
It's just so bad. He is going to look back in 20 years. He's going to see that. He is going to commit
Sewer slide.
Yeah, he's going to do bad
No.
things to himself for that.
No. The
No,
best
he's
is
gonna
gonna
be
self-harm.
proud of this.
who will come back to him like, oh my god, I was on one
He
back
stood
in the
up
day.
to the man.
Yeah.
I love
He
it.
stood up to the man.
All right.
Take that, Joe.
Good for you. Good
All
for
right.
Take that, Joe.
Mary, it is time to talk about the George Floyd biopic that is currently in the
Boy.
works.
Yes.
Sweet.
There is currently a George Floyd biopic in development because Hollywood, and what else would you expect from Hollywood? And reportedly, the title is going to be Daddy Changed the World. I think that makes it so much weirder than it even was initially when I saw the news of this. A biopic titled Daddy Changed the World is in development, focusing on the life and legacy of George Floyd. The film is a collaborative effort involving Radar Pictures, 8 Queens Film and Media Productions, and Night Fox Entertainment. Notably, Floyd's daughter, Gianna Floyd, and her mother, Roxy Washington, are serving as executive producers. And I read further into this. The biopic will apparently not portray George Floyd as a perfect person.
The litmus test for this will be, will they include the robbery that he was a part of?
Will they include all of his crimes?
I'm not saying all of them. I'm saying, but that was a significant argument to the contrary that was made by people who said you shouldn't evangelize this guy. Like, it makes sense that if you include that story, people might be willing to look at this as a more even keel piece. I don't think they will do that.
Especially after we just went over the controversies with the Donald Trump biopic and how they are attempting to portray him as a monster. It's very telling that this is what comes out in the news the next day. So they're aiming not to portray Floyd as a perfect person, but rather a father with human flaws whose horrific death changed the world. It will not be a traditional biopic, but more of a, quote, gritty drama of a man and his community thrust into the fiery light of history.
There has been zero positive social change from the death of George Floyd. Absolutely zero.
Got a lot of people rich though.
Crime isn't. Yeah, there's some people that have grifted off of it, but crime has increased significantly. A lot of people died. There was a lot of damage. There's been zero social change. The narrative that it was built on was BS in the first place, because the narrative was that there was thousands of unarmed black men being killed by police every year, and that was never happening. Like, that was just BS right off the bat. So it was a social panic that has done nothing but terrible damage to the U.S., and race relations in the U.S. have not been worse since the 60s, 70s.
I demand that they make it a double feature with a David Dorn
it's going to be
movie.
It's only going to make everything worse.
You know, and
So you do you feel represented because this is finally representation for Minnesotans?
as a Minnesotan, yes, I feel. But okay, so this was my other pitch. Okay, so you want to make this movie? Fine. I demand it be part of a cinematic universe with a Purge movie that takes place during the riots. Right? And they put the Purge franchise into the riots. I mean, $500 million of damage done to the city of Minneapolis. I loved the low
Just
ball.
Minneapolis, never mind the rest of the country.
It was like 55 million was their low ball number to begin with, and it was much, much higher than that. But they turn it into a Purge movie, and then I can get behind it. I'll watch that.
You know, and it's worth noting that recently we had the anniversary of Michael Brown as well, who was another a narrative that was a lie that was fed to the population, to the American people, and that, you know, that resulted in Ferguson being burnt, a bunch of property damage. I don't know how many people died during the Ferguson riots, but that was the whole hands up, don't shoot. That was never a thing. Michael Brown's DNA was found on the cop's gun. There was a bullet hole inside the cruiser because Michael Brown was fighting with the cop trying to get his gun, and people continue still to this day to say that Michael Brown was an innocent man that had his hands up and he wasn't trying to get shot. He was like saying hands up, don't shoot. That was a lie from day one. CNN had like a whole panel. They're all doing it, but it was BS. And it's done nothing but horrible things for the country.
Of course, all of the articles that are being written about this are repeating the same lies that were told about George Floyd's death all over again. It doesn't really matter what's true.
You pointed out the one that says that he was forced out of the car and onto the ground.
Yeah, forced to lie on the ground when that is in the body cam footage what he was asking to do. But you know, regardless, it doesn't really matter. That's what the movie is going to portray. And George Floyd's baby mama said in a statement, "We're excited the world will see the real jovial and loving George we know. This film will humanize him, embody the essence of his life, and hopefully reignite efforts to pass the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act. It's time for justice and equality for all. We need to make these changes swiftly. No other child should lose their father like Gianna did. We thank everyone who stood with us and protested. George's legacy will live on through this film."
Here is where Hollywood really does its work. This is what they love more than anything. They love the idea of their art being used for social reform. That's what the bread and butter is for a lot of this industry. I do wonder whether this film will end up going straight to streaming, which is, I assume that this will be a streaming movie. I can't imagine this getting a theater release.
I don't think so either.
I can't imagine there being a significant demand to get people out. That'll get people out of the house to go see the movie.
But this is the pretentious filmmaker's dream for a movie. One of them said, "I'm committed to using my platform and talents to make a positive impact on the world. By telling George Floyd's story and shedding light on the injustices faced by marginalized communities, I hope to inspire change and create a better future for generations to come. George Floyd's legacy will not be forgotten, and I am honored to be a part of this important project." But I just thought I would read out some of George Floyd's crimes for which he spent time in prison.
20 there from Carnell.
Carnell said the George Floyd movie is likely to leave audiences breathless. I'll see myself out. Thank you. But yeah, in 1998, he spent 10 months in prison for armed robbery. In 2002, he spent 8 months in prison for cocaine, and then another time in 2004, and another time in 2005. And then in 2007, he spent 5 years in prison for armed robbery of the pregnant woman in her home. That was the incident in which he allegedly pointed a gun at her stomach.
I thought that part of it had been disproven or something like that.
I don't know.
That he was part of the robbery. I don't know.
But are they going to portray this side of George Floyd?
No,
I don't think so.
The most important thing you can do if you're trying to portray some type of objectivity would be to show his role in that crime. Now, if the idea here is like, look, that was in 2007, and that after committing an absolutely horrific crime, he turned his life around, that's one thing. I don't know enough about his history to know whether that's true or not, but I'm just saying that how you tell the story is very, very important to getting audiences to actually buy that you're not committing political propaganda, but it will be political propaganda, and everyone knows that.
It doesn't humanize someone to erase all of their flaws and all of the things they did wrong in life.
Correct.
I mean, really, a big theme in that movie, if they were doing it in a realistic way, would be his drug addiction issues.
Yeah.
But I don't even know if they're going to focus on that.
Which he struggled with all the way up until he died. And that's a huge part of it. And that's something that rings true. I was thinking about, who was the actor, somebody in the chat will know his name, the actor who played Omar in The Wire. He died of fentanyl, and so did one of the actors from True Blood. Both of these guys, who were successful in Hollywood, at least to a point, and maybe weren't getting as much work these days, but still were well known, died of these same types of drug overdoses. That's a story that unifies more people if you actually focus on that. But we understand that that's not what this is going to be. And if you downplay the role of the riots as righteous, you're going to anger a lot of people. You're going to anger business owners, at least the ones that haven't been, propagandized into believing that they should sacrifice their businesses for the sake of people being upset.
They might not even
to law-abiding citizens. That's a hard sell to show those riots as, oh well, I guess it needed to happen.
I mean, the whole think piece brigade was saying, like, this is why rioting is actually a good thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there was all
it's the voice
the
of the unheard.
Right. Yeah.
Oh yes, thank you, Michael K. Williams. I almost said Terrence K. Williams.
Do we have casting choices?
Okay, so I gave you 3 options. I said Jonathan Majors, Denzel Washington, or Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling is in the lead. I also saw Chris Pratt. Someone threw that out there.
Somebody said Jamie Foxx.
But Jonathan Majors could do this if they put him on stilts.
Too young.
Too young? I just think he's too short.
Jonathan, I think maybe Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx has played a lot of other, famous people. So we can go with that.
I mean, this is just obviously a clown show. I don't think anyone should take it seriously. And it's really sad because it actually... this was a real person, right?
Yep.
You're just using him as a pawn in your political propaganda.
Yes.
Yep. So we'll and then I guess the other question is who ends up playing Derek Chauvin?
Tom Holland.
I don't have that picture pulled up, but I want to show that one anyways.
He got the Derek Chauvin haircut already.
Yes, he did. He looks right now. There's a picture of Tom Holland where he definitely looks like he turns the body cam off. So we'll wait and see. Again, I'm more interested to see where this goes, whether it goes to theater or streaming. I highly doubt it goes to theaters. It'll end up on Hulu or Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Super Chats, and there is a $20 one there.
Oh, look at that.
Alfred the Rock said, Phil, post Civ War apocalypse, do you go on tour with Michael Bublé, only Christmas and show tunes, or Lady Gaga, but you can make new music? Marry 100K to play both Olsen twins in the biopic or Uma Thurman biopic?
The one where I get to make new music.
You go on tour with Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
I think that would actually be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she did a song. She did a song with Metallica one time, didn't she?
Did she?
I'm pretty sure she did.
I like Lady Gaga. What the hell does she know about cameras?
Not much. Not much. Shane H. Wilder said, happy Thursday, Brett, Mary, and Phil. I caught a head cold, so expect me to be even stupider than usual, which is already pretty stupid.
If it makes you feel any better, I'm that way all the time without a head cold, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Still getting over mine.
What was your answer? It says marry 100K to play both Olsen twins in a biopic or Uma Thurman.
Oh, like I was supposed to pick one.
Are you supposed to pick one?
I guess the Olsen twins?
And then you hire Elizabeth Olsen to play you as the Olsen twins.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gordon Shumway said, have you guys explained what hag maxing is to Phil yet? I want to see his reaction to the name.
Phil, do you know what hag maxing is?
Have you heard of this? Hag maxing?
It's the newest thing.
It sounds like...
Thank you guys.
Like a...
It's a good thing.
Crisis party. Sounds like you're looking for ugly people and doing as... No? Go ahead.
No, it's Gen Z men who are dating millennial women who are financially stable and experienced instead of Gen Z women.
So that used to be called MILF hunting back in the day, but now it's just...
Yeah, I mean,
they're the hag maxers. Do you think this is a good choice for them?
I mean, look, yes, actually it is.
We just got a $20 from Waffle Sensei. I just hope they show what a villain that pregnant mother was when she lunged in front of George's gun, trying to prevent him and his buddies from collecting her television set.
Well, I've always been told that if you value your own property more than the life of a person who breaks into your home, you know,
that means you value
you're just a bad person.
Yeah, I do. I am. I come into my house and, you know, you can't have my things.
I mean, if you're invading someone's home, you don't care about your life.
Yes.
So, Tacty Platty said, Brett, I hope you cover the Skibbity Biden thing.
I didn't see...
Skibbity Biden.
That? I don't know. I did see
Did he get a cameo in Skibbity Toilet?
That's amazing if he did. I did see that Biden canceled another $7 billion in debt, in student loan debt.
Oh, that's good. Good.
But buying those votes.
That's... I mean, you can't be... It couldn't be any more clear that he is buying votes or trying to buy votes.
Yeah.
But apparently this is cool now, I guess.
Biden be shopping.
Let's do one more.
Biden be shopping.
Sup, my dude said, I can sense how the George Floyd movie will go. George will save a pregnant woman from a burning building, take down counterfeit money operations, promote anti-drug programs, and denounce Trump. Hero!
What if they
We can only hope.
What if they made him pro-Trump just so you don't know what to think about it? Like,
I want to know who he voted
twist.
for. He might have been a Trump voter. You never know.
You never know.
Not that Jon Stewart.
Let's hold off on the rest and we'll come back after the fact.
Okay.
Let's let us move on. All right, Mary. The ladies, they just can't seem to find a man these days, can
Sad. Yeah. Millennial women have been going to TikTok in droves to bemoan their singleness. And there have been a lot of examples of this popping up on the timeline recently, but one went extremely viral. This girl just went on a rant about how she can't seem to find a man, and I think we should investigate why that might be. So let's hear it from her.
Let's watch this video first, and you guys can make up your own mind. Let's see what she has to say. First of all, I still say she looks like Rachel Zegler there. That's my first takeaway.
Sick and tired of just everything right now.
The rain's really helping hit this.
Everyone is so quick to say
the ambiance.
Stop doing this. Stop thinking like this. Stop telling me I'm wrong. I have literally.
That was the most woman thing a woman has ever womaned before. Let's continue.
Literally convinced myself at this point, based on everything that everyone's telling me, my therapist, my family, my friends, that I'm just doing everything wrong. I'm healing wrong. I'm thinking wrong. I'm training wrong. I'm doing relationships wrong. Everything I do is fucking wrong, and I'm so sick of it. Stop comparing. It's not even about comparison. Like, I genuinely just want love in my life so badly. It's literally not about anyone else. It's just about me and what I want.
You're wrong.
And being fucking over the fact that I don't have it. I feel like I have done so much work on myself. I have built a beautiful life for myself. I'm happy with my life where I'm at, my job. I'm successful. I'm independent. I'm healthier than I've ever been. I take such good care of myself. Truly, the only thing I'm missing in my life is someone to enjoy it with.
I'm picturing like a camera from outside the car because her phone's like low and it just looks like she's talking to herself in the car. You know?
Well, she is.
But
she is talking to herself in the car.
Yeah. That could also play. Maybe the man of her dreams is like right outside the car and he saw her talking to herself and he just kept walking.
Yeah, he was like, never mind.
And I'm so sick of waiting. Like, when is it going to be my turn? What more do I have to do to fix myself before I'm just allowed to be happy, before I'm allowed to meet this universe soulmate person that God supposedly has for me? How much harder do I have to pray and manifest and wait? I feel like I'm being punished for something I didn't do.
That's a religious
and I'm just so
perspective.
tired. I'm so tired. I don't expect a lot. I just want love in my life so bad. I want my life partner. Am I just supposed to be alone? Like, is that the message? That this beautiful life I've built for myself, like, it's just supposed to be me in it alone? Like, I know I have my dog, and I love him so much, but, like, I need love. All of my friends have their fiancés and their boyfriends and their husbands that they prioritize. Like, as far as I'm concerned, I've been left behind.
Maybe it's because they prioritize them.
I mean, I can't speak, like, I don't know
And
what
I really just want
her deal is, but, like,
find that person that matches my energy and wants to build a life with me.
Okay.
it's like what everybody wants. Like, she's not like, it's not like some unique position that she's in, and so.
It's sad when someone is insisting to a camera that they're happy when, you know, obviously you wouldn't be making this video if you were happy. And it's fine if you just admit that you aren't fulfilled with where you're at in life.
I kind of feel like that's what she was saying, wasn't it?
She's insisting, I'm happy.
No.
She's saying, I'm happy. Well, you're clearly not happy, and that's fine. But it's ironic because she's saying, I've built this life for myself. I have this, I mean, I am very healthy. I take good care of myself, and I have a dog, and I have the, you know, she probably provides for herself on a single income, and she has a good career and everything, and she is obviously attractive.
I think she's actual fitness model or something like that.
Something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. But then she says, I want to build a life with someone, but
She's
it's like
literally
you
already
you already built
Yeah.
your life.
What she's looking for is she's looking for a guy to join her existing life, and most of the time guys are looking to build something of theirs with the woman. So like the guys want to do their, like suppose what guys should want to do and what the guys generally want to do is like they want to do their thing with the girl by their side. They don't want to join an existing life that's already like, you know, she's got everything. She's like, I've got everything I want except for the guy. And it's like, you built all the stuff without the guy. Now the guy's gonna feel like, what do you need me for?
It together.
Yeah. What's the point of me? You know, like the guy's really gonna be like, what's the point of me being in your life? Like you've built it all. You know.
Well, for some men, I think that's true. But I think a lot of men out there feel like they want to do
the kind of guy
what
she wants,
did.
though. But the kind of guy she wants. Because
Sure.
if you're like, I've built this great life, right, and I've done all this stuff, and there's a dude that's like, oh man, I can just slide in here and sit down on the couch and play video games. She's not gonna like that guy.
That's why the Gen Z men are looking for girls like her,
exactly.
so they can be.
But that's the
with
thing,
the
like
mommy.
the girl, like, but she wants an achieving guy, like you know she does. She's like, she's not attracted to like just, you know.
But the achieving guy is already taken or wants to
build something with, you know. So it's like if you
Well,
build
you know,
your
like the phenomenon of like a placeholder GF is kind of the GF that's waiting around while the guy is building his life, and then suddenly he feels like, you know what, I'm gonna upgrade, and then he lets go of the placeholder GF and gets married 2 months later. Like that's a common phenomenon I've heard people complaining about, where there are guys who just, you know, take the route that she has taken. Evidently, they build their life and then they look for the partner, the woman, to come join it. That's generally the male mode of
maybe it would help her
right now.
to talk to her friends that she talks about. She seems to be very acutely aware of all her friends who are in successful relationships, and ask not just how you made it work, but maybe when did it start, and did you build a life with them, or did you settle into a life that was already built with them? And my guess, obviously not knowing any of them, is that the story would kind of skew more towards they built a life together, and they've been a couple for an extended period of time. I mean, that's very hard to start later.
I know that it's harder nowadays to meet people because of the way that like life is, with everyone being kind of engrossed in their phones, and it's harder to meet like normal relationship type people. I get that. Like if you're looking for hookups, there's apps for that. But if you're actually looking for a regular relationship, that's more difficult. and she's probably used to it being easier because she is a pretty young girl. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know how long she been single. Has she been single for like 6 months? And then
did she say that she's like?
The second she said my therapist, I was like, the achieving guy doesn't want to date the girl who's going to bring a bunch of therapy speak into the relationship. Sorry.
Well, she wasn't using any of that in the video.
Yeah,
to be fair.
I can't speak for like whether or not like if I don't think she's like a problem or whatever. But it's like at the same time, it's like she's looking for something that like if she wants it like if she's looking for like a high achieving like dude that's not going to be considered a pile by her friends. It's like
he's not looking for her.
He's not looking. Well, it's not that he's not looking for her. It's just he's looking for someone that can do like they're looking to like a journey together, not like
well, that's what I'm saying. He's not looking for her.
Exactly.
He's not looking for somebody that has the qualifications that she does.
Yeah, because for a woman, like for a man, like for a woman looking at a man that has all those things, she's like, cool, he's successful. Like these things make him attractive. Men don't see success in business and stuff like that as attractive. It's like they're just like 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. They don't care. They're like, oh, cool. Well, that's cool that you did, but like that's not the stuff that makes men attracted to women.
And she's asking a lot of questions, but the sad thing is she's not asking questions. She thinks it's almost like she wants them to be rhetorical because in the beginning she said everybody's telling me I'm doing this stuff wrong and I'm sick of it. So why ask questions you don't want the answers to?
The poor girl just wants results, is honestly.
Well, I think my main reaction to this was this is not something that you should bring to the internet.
Correct.
You shouldn't bring like I think that people need to learn a level of like digital modesty, like not in what you wear, but in the things you reveal to the internet. And I've seen countless videos from both men and women at this point crying in their cars, ranting in their cars about what their most vulnerable parts of themselves are and revealing that to millions of people. And that is unattractive, but also it's just terrible for you and your psyche to expose your weaknesses and your pain to a bunch of people who quite frankly don't care and are going to rake you over the coals regardless of what you say.
But it doesn't matter because just as many people will be like, oh my gosh, it's not your fault, and she will get addicted to those answers.
But in a way, like, it might not be her fault.
It doesn't.
It might not be her fault.
It doesn't matter. She's emotionally getting invested in the fact that people are validating that for her. And that's not helpful.
Sure, but I understand the drive to disclose those things online. I just resist it. Like, the internet, it lends itself to making you disclose yourself, not just by taking a picture of yourself, but using it as your diary, and
kind of like
it's very unhealthy.
Kind of like in the way they say, like, if you're making a plan and you want to change, don't just tell everyone your plan, because just the act of talking about it can satiate you in a way.
Yeah, because what happens is you get that because there's a dopamine release that you get from talking about the plan as if you were doing it, which is part of the reason why there are so many people that love to talk about stuff they're going to do, but they never get around to doing it.
So maybe don't talk about all like this and like sit with it and internalize it a little bit more, and maybe the problem will find a solution faster, rather than using the internet, like you said, as a diary that kind of is a pressure release valve for something like this, where every time something goes wrong she complains about it online rather than work to change it in the real world. Again, I don't know the specific situations, and I do feel bad for her. I hope that she ends up finding someone. Clearly it seems to be important to her, but it's sad.
These are very poor circumstances for everyone. But I think that the next video shows the guy that she should go on a date with.
Yes.
Why is this grown-ass man actively going around trying to meet someone naturally with a pair of headphones in his damn ears?
That is a good question.
Day one of going places alone until I meet someone naturally instead of using dating apps.
To us, what? What?
Take the headphones out.
He's gonna meet Cheryl over here.
He should put on like the over-ear headphones.
Yeah.
Just awkwardly standing next to a woman instead of talking to her.
This is fodder for content. This isn't even actually trying.
Well, it's only day one. It hasn't worked yet. Gotta give it more time.
You're hard worker.
Yes.
All hard workers. All hard workers. Nah, that's all we do. Trying the best.
I'm just picturing somebody looking at him holding his phone like this, and then wondering.
They're
why
immediately
nobody's-
disgusted.
Yes. Okay.
Well, he's just the NPC who's standing in, he's standing next to the bike rack waiting for you to start a conversation with him.
Yes.
They
should find each other.
They need to find each other.
Like what
Yeah.
the best version of this would be like we see him recording the video, and in the background she's in her car recording her video, and it's a meet cute.
Exactly. But unfortunately, if that happened in real life, they would never talk.
Yes, because she'd be too busy talking to her phone, and he'd be too busy looking at his phone. There's a romantic comedy plot in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Where is Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell? We need them to make this movie right now.
It's getting really sad. I see like 2 or 3 of these new like videos of millennial women usually pop up daily complaining about how they're hopeless in the dating world.
It's content.
Their misery is content.
I think there's a couple things going on. First of all, women like to do that stuff. They like to share their feelings and stuff like that. And so if they do that kind of stuff in social media, they're going to do it with their, with all of the things that are going on. If they do that, and like it's content. If she gets a bunch of views and stuff.
That's the thing. The problem with social media for women is it acts like porn for men, meaning that just the responses she will get to her video of herself dumping all of that on you will be enough to satiate her for a period of time.
Social media is so bad for women because it gives women it gives them all of the dopamine hits they get from being terrible in society. It just messes with their head.
I'm not even saying from like saying that she was being horrible there. I'm just saying like she'll read the responses and she'll get enough interaction from that will be enough to quell her emotional state for a period of time until the next time when she just does it again. Whereas if she didn't have that, she would have to look for it elsewhere. The same is true for men with porn.
We watched this other terrible video.
I'm not kidding you that it was the worst thing I've watched in so long. We're not even going to watch it because it's so long.
It's too long for us to watch it here, but basically this woman was like crying and she said that she's been trying to meet someone for a while, so she goes out to these events.
I saw that one, yes.
Yeah. And she went to, basically to sum it up, she went to this comedy show. She sat in the front row because she was early, and then nobody else sat in the front row, and every comedian was like ribbing her about it. And she was like, okay, fine. But then at the end, they were like, usually we do a raffle for this, but we're just going to give you the prize because you were so brave for sitting in the front row all alone. And
she says, I went out to meet new people. And her voice is like quivering with tears.
It's horrible.
And all I can think of when I'm watching is like, why would you make this video?
Yeah. Yeah. Really, it's because like either the dopamine hit is too strong, or some of these people are making these videos because they don't have anyone else to talk to, and that's even more sad.
Is there I know that there's like an epidemic of loneliness among guys, but is that the same way with women? Do women feel like they don't have friends and stuff like that nowadays, young women?
I think the rates of friendlessness are increasing for everyone, but for men more so. But that's just, the nature of
being a man.
Being a man. Also, like, they need social connection less than women need it. And yeah, I think that the statistic of people who report having 0 close friends is still growing overall.
Between 2019 and through 2021, I skated alone for so long that when I moved out here, I had to like relearn how to skate with people again, because it was like in 2020, it was during COVID, and I would skate with my friends once 2021 came around, but not as much because usually I would skate after work and they would skate on the weekends. But the point was, like, I had to like relearn how to skate as a social experience rather than just something I did for exercise by myself. Similar to like how if you work out, it's usually mostly a solitary experience unless you actually have like a gym bro that you go with and stuff like that.
Did you know a lot of guys in that world who met their girlfriends through skating?
That just No. I mean, it happens, but to me, that is maybe the worst possible thing you could think of.
But was it like a significant amount of them?
No, very few. Very, very few. I mean, the number of women that picked up skating has increased heavily in like the last 5 to 10 years. But before that, it was so rare that it was almost negligible amounts, like probably a 0.001%.
Okay.
But now it's like, all I can think of is just like you're fighting with your girlfriend. Like, well, I'm going skating to clear my head. She's like, well, I'm coming with you. Like that just sounds horrible to me. Like I don't want it to be I don't want that to be something we share. I want that to be something that's uniquely my own, just like whatever you do in your free time should be uniquely your own, because we're not the same person. We're two people who have things we do together. We have common interests. We have common goals, but that doesn't mean everything has to be shared.
Yeah.
If anything, it should not be that. It should be, you should feel very, very comfortable in your own spaces.
I don't think there's any obvious solution to this problem, but it's worth paying attention to, because I think there's a growing cohort of specifically millennial women who were sold a bunch of lies.
She also
who
has
are also very high achieving. Yeah. They have great careers and they're degreed and everything like that. They don't know that men don't value that necessarily. But it's a catch-22, because like a lot of people meet spouses in college or through work. And, you know, it's a good way to be around people your own age who are of a similar social status.
Wonder how many times she met somebody at her job.
It doesn't always work out
sorry,
that
I'm focusing
way.
on me and my career right now.
Well, and also HR is like ruining workplace relationships too. So there are just countless reasons
Everything
why
about feminism is ruining relationships. Like feminism is terrible for relationships. It's horrible for relationships. It tells women that you should strive to be a man. The way to be a successful woman is to be a successful man, and it doesn't give women an accurate representation of men or what's likely to make women happy.
Yep. Yep. All right, let's go to super chats.
Not That Jon Stewart said the funeral is for Alec Baldwin's character. Do we think he just didn't want to be in this, or the studio didn't want him because of Rust? Wait, what? What funeral? I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. Shane H. Wilder said Beetlejuice 2 looks decent, but I'm curious.
Okay. From Beetlejuice. Yeah. I mean, maybe they just couldn't afford Alec Baldwin now, or he was a safety hazard on set.
Jenna Ortega's afraid of him.
She's like,
they couldn't afford the insurance for hiring out.
What if Alec Baldwin made the Michael Brown movie? If anybody should make the Hands Up, Don't Shoot movie, it's Alec Baldwin.
No. Beetlejuice 2 looks decent, but I'm curious where the Maitlands are. Watch the original Beetlejuice, Mary. You will enjoy it. I'd put money on it. I tried to watch the original before, and I got like 10 minutes in before my Gen Z attention span waned. But I'll try. Corey Anderson said, I have a feeling the BJ movie is just going to be member berries, but the trailer looks promising. Fingers crossed. If Baldwin is in it, I will pass. He is not. Shane H. Wilder said civic centers, Honda has their hands in everything.
I don't think that's actually it, but let's do 2 more.
Tacti Platty, Mary, can you define how something is Reddit?
It's like woke or porn. You know it when you see it.
You know it when you see it. You really do. Yeah. But that's just that style of humor that you know someone doesn't organically have. They adopted it from the internet, and it's all jokes you've heard before. And also way too much swearing, because you're not allowed to tell offensive jokes anymore. So you have to swear to make up for it. Yeah. I hate that. Yep. Mr. Anderpson said, you guys should have Nick Rakita on the show. I hear his streams can't be beat. Word on the street is he really could use a hand.
I watched that.
I didn't see that. I saw
the clip.
I didn't see the
stream,
clip.
I saw the clip.
I didn't see. I saw it. I didn't hear it. I didn't So was he just drunk or?
Look, I didn't listen to it with the audio. I listened to the clip. I saw the clip. I can't see what his hand is doing, so I can't confirm or deny what happened. I did read a lot about it. I don't know what's going on with that situation. I kind of just stay out of anything that involves YouTuber drama. So just
hope he's okay.
I hope he's okay.
Yeah, it doesn't look it, but yeah, I hope so too. He doesn't look good. The video that I saw, he doesn't look so good.
Hope he becomes okay soon.
Neon from Clownfish TV said, like, I can't keep track of what YouTubers hate each other now. That's why I just don't stream with a lot of other people. That's a good thought process, is to be like, just stay out of it. if you can.
$20 from Cody. Hey Phil, was at Sonic Temple in Columbus last weekend. Saw Limp Bizkit,
Yes.
Pantera, Stained, but can't help but be a little disappointed because a band you may know didn't show up. What gives?
Yeah, we were not.
Love you, man. Hope to see you soon.
We were supposed to be there. Our guitar player is having a family issue right now. One of his family members is sick, and so he had to be around to help out. So we had to cancel a bunch of shows around now. So unfortunately.
Didn't one of the founding members of Stained just pass away?
Yep, John Wysocki.
Okay, yeah, I saw that. That was sad. All right, let's go ahead and move on then, shall we?
Yeah. You might have heard of asexuals, pansexuals, and we've even educated you about ecosexuals who are attracted to plants. But the new identity is autosexuals. And I think we can all agree that self-love culture has gone way too far.
Way too far.
Way too far.
There's nothing I hate more than somebody saying like, I'm all about self-care. I'm like, be a little bit less about, take care of yourself a little bit less.
Yeah. So there's now a sexual orientation for those who love themselves a little too much. It's autosexual. And I originally thought that this meant you were attracted to cars. But really it just means that you are sexually attracted to yourself. So that's just narcissism, right?
Yes.
Am I wrong?
It's just an extreme level of narcissism that's married to your sexual desires. That's creepy.
So back in 2020, Kourtney Kardashian actually came out as autosexual. A Kardashian being a narcissist?
You gotta be kidding.
Imagine my shock. So she even published an article on her website, Poosh, about autosexuals.
Why that name out of all of them?
Because she's skinwalking goop, obviously. She wants to be Gwyneth, but she will never be. So they explained the term here. A therapist, Casey Tanner, helped define the term for readers. Autosexuality, a trait wherein one is turned on by engaging in their own eroticism. Autosexuality may extend beyond sexual behavior to include feeling a longing or desire for oneself. It can also be the ability to turn oneself on through looking at, visualizing, touching, or smelling oneself. And it even has its own article on WebMD, oddly enough. I guess it could be a medical condition to be this obsessed with yourself. And I wanted to show a testimonial from one of the autosexuals as well.
Oh, God. Okay, here we go. Why do they always look like this?
It's always the ugliest people.
Yes, I'm going to turn this down a little bit. Okay, here we go.
Engaged to myself, but I can't decide on what kind of wedding I want, and I've been deciding for years, but you know what? I'm not in a rush. My proposal was very simple. I just asked myself, Gia, will you marry me? And then I paused for just a little bit, and then I was like, yes!
She didn't say yes a million times yes. I suppose
Didn't even cover her mouth?
When it's not as much of a surprise, it's harder to do.
Yeah.
I'm Gia Vitale, and I am autosexual and autoromantic. Autosexuality is being sexually attracted to yourself, while autoromanticism
I suppose somebody's got to do it for her. Nobody else will.
Being romantically attracted to yourself.
When you run out of options.
I first noticed that other people weren't autosexual, I think when I was in high school, when I would fantasize about myself. And I remember telling other people, and they were like, really? I've never done that. In college was also when I discovered the term autosexual, and I discovered it on a dating and relationship website.
We should ban the internet now.
And that was the eureka moment. That's when I knew it was me. I'm autosexual.
Now we recognize that there's so much more than gay and straight. There always was, but we have more words now. We have more ways to be able to.
That's literally my problem with all of it. They've given too many things words.
We have a $20 from Wilhelm. DW needs to now make an accurate GF movie. Also, PCC needs to make a list of how many charges, etc. they leave out of the movie. Also, I hope all the people they portray falsely sue the shit out of them, including the coroner. Anyway, autosexuality. Is
it wrong that I would have been much more excited to just have to have this discussion about some weirdo who liked cars?
I really would have preferred
so much easier.
Yeah,
it would have been so much easier.
People who are sexually attracted to cars already exist, though.
Yeah. Well, what are those called?
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought they were just called car guys.
Mobile sexual.
Just called car guys, huh?
Guys who like cars.
Hey.
Thank you. It's funny because I was just comparing women to cars on my Twitter.
Yes, you were.
But no, it's not that. Thank you, guys.
I demand society stop giving new words to things. We need less clarity. We do.
We need less identities.
We need less of the internet. We need less
honestly.
clarity. Not everything needs a name. Ecosexual never needed to exist. You're just weird. That's okay. Just don't give yourself a name and try to make it normal.
There are 6 signs you might be autosexual, aka attracted to yourself. So,
okay, how about
should we go down the list?
But it's like when people, which one is demisexual again?
Demisexual means that you need to have an emotional connection before
that
having
doesn't
sex.
need a name.
Yeah, that's just called normal.
Stop naming things. Stop clarifying things. Make the world more confusing. I demand
it's because normal can't exist anymore in this paradigm. Normal is also like bad. Mm-hmm. So you have to give it an identity and marginalize it, problematize it.
Yes.
So
now these are the 6 what?
Yeah, there are 6 signs that you might be an autosexual. And by the way, autosexuality is a spectrum and everyone's on it. So you might even be autosexual without knowing it. Isn't that exciting?
I always suspected.
Number 1, you prefer masturbation to sex. While you might not say no to sex with another person, you know that your strongest orgasms and deepest satisfaction come from solo sessions. 2, you use fantasies about yourself when having sex in order to orgasm. This just sounds like Patrick Bateman. So I guess he was the first autosexual who was represented in media. That's groundbreaking. You fantasize about yourself when masturbating instead of watching porn. That's Billie Eilish, because she likes to masturbate in front of mirrors and proudly proclaims that. You prioritize masturbation and quality time with yourself over the pursuit of dates. That just sounds like an incel to me. Maybe incels are autosexual and we didn't know it. You have erotic dreams about yourself, and you love having sex in front of a mirror. During partnered sexual contact, if you have a mirror close by and your gaze focuses on your own body and these images evoke arousal, then consider autosexual orientation as a possibility. That's, again, Patrick Bateman.
There's a $20 there from Philip Reed.
Well, I was having a good day, but seeing that, I now have a headache. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's a
sorry
hell of
for
a
doing
world
this
we live
to you.
in. Was that all of them?
Those are the signs.
Okay, so this reminded me of something that I've brought up here on this show before. It reminded me of the not one but 2 women who got famous for marrying themselves and then divorcing themselves.
It's actually more than 2. There was one who was a fitness instructor in Italy that married herself, and then there was also one from Australia.
Yeah, so Sophie Maurer announced that she was going to marry herself in a post on the internet while she posed in a white gown and veil topped off with a gold tiara. The 25-year-old influencer, who has over 500,000 followers on Instagram and Twitter, revealed at the time that she had bought a wedding dress and baked a cake for herself to commemorate the day. It's like that lady who baked the cake for herself on her birthday that cried while making that cake too. But it wasn't just this lady. There was also this lady who married herself and then divorced herself because she met someone else.
There was another one. There was another one
She fell
who
in love with another lady. She fell in love with somebody else.
She married herself and then cheated on herself.
I hate it when that happens.
Crazy, right?
So dumb.
So that's just an ode to millennial narcissism right there.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Would a man ever do this?
No.
I feel like there's still enough shame that would keep a man from marrying himself.
A man would not do that.
I think that actually shows that a lot of millennial women just want to throw a party and wear a pretty dress.
Yeah, that's, I mean...
You can do that without marrying
You
yourself.
can do that without calling it a wedding, but it makes sense because that's what weddings have been reduced to, is just parties where you take pictures and wear a pretty dress.
I have to read you just the highlights of this article because I imagine being whoever it was that had to go to 4 years of school to write this. It says the 33-year-old model insisted that she wasn't disappointed not to have a groom and instead embraced going it alone, but it wasn't meant to be, and 90 days later she decided to divorce herself. The Daily Star reports.
Just enough time for the green card.
Fortunately for Chris, who hails from Sao Paulo, she has since met someone special and has even started to fall in love despite vowing to go it alone.
Can you imagine what kind of guy would get with a woman who married herself?
I was happy.
He must be desperate.
I was happy while it lasted, she said, adding, I started to believe in love the moment I met someone else special. So, I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of men who would, ignore a lot of red flags these days. So maybe not as much as that lady needed in that previous segment.
I don't know how many dudes are going to ignore red flags if people are, that other, that other girl's like having problems meeting dudes, I honestly, I think that other girl's problem was that it's hard to find dudes she likes, not hard to find dudes. But,
I agree that maybe they just weren't up to her standards.
Yeah.
I guess
don't look. They tell the ladies today, never settle for less. You can have the job, the career, and Prince Charming. And unfortunately, Prince Charming just probably doesn't actually exist in the real world.
It's interesting because there was that recent interview with Rachel McAdams, I think, where she was talking about how becoming a mom was like the best decision I ever made because I lived for myself for so long that I got sick of myself. That's the problem.
That's impressive.
If you're alone or independent for long enough, then the only natural reaction is to get sick of yourself and want to put energy into someone else for a change and give to someone else. That's, I think, what we're built to do. I guess that's controversial to say that now.
I feel like a 90-day marriage to yourself shouldn't be called a shotgun wedding. It should be called a handgun wedding because it's a single person. And
a handgun wedding?
It feels like that fits more. I think that a lot of this, it really is just an ode to the narcissism of the culture that we live in now.
People trying to go viral, I guess. Yeah. But some of them are being completely genuine, I swear.
That's not even, what I'm saying is the going viral is a different type of narcissism, but actually truly doing this because you are sexually attracted to yourself, that's a different level of narcissism. Perhaps one that, I don't know which one is worse. The other one's more dishonest. That one's just more weird.
Mm-hmm. Let's look at these myths and misconceptions about autosexuality.
Oh, debunk away.
Let's debunk the myths. Autosexuality can be confusing to outsiders, especially because it isn't well researched yet. Can't wait for the experts to tell us what to think about this. Some do not consider it a credible sexual orientation and may mock it as narcissism, something unnatural, or even a mental illness. However, sexuality is nuanced and everyone should be able to explore their own desires in a way that feels right to them. Sometimes it's assumed that autosexual people never have relationships with others, but this isn't true. Some people who are autosexual may desire closeness with others. They may identify with one or more other sexual orientations and simply prefer self-stimulation much of the time. Well, wouldn't you love to be in a relationship with someone like that?
Wouldn't that make you a voluntary incel then?
I guess they're volcels. Yeah. There are some people who identify as autosexual after one or more failed relationships. They may see a relationship with themselves as the answer to love. Others say that their relationship with themselves is real and that they are genuinely in love with themselves as they would be with someone else.
20 years ago, a therapist would tell you that's not healthy. Trying once and then giving up isn't healthy. To live a full life, you have to actually interact with other people. But the problem is now, because everything else has to be normalized, you're not allowed to tell people the obvious anymore.
Mm-hmm. I think there was also a video that Anthony Padilla made called I Spent a Day with Autosexuals. This is just something he does on his channel like I spent a day with blankety blank. And it could be a profession or it could be a sexual orientation. And he did this a couple of years back. I wanted to show this interview with one of the autosexuals real quick.
Were attracted to themselves?
It started when I was 7, and I looked at myself in the mirror after I had showered, and I noticed I really liked what I saw. I discovered I was autosexual before I realized I was attracted to other women, actually.
I actually decided to go online and say, why is it that sometimes when I'm doing the do, I think only of myself? And that's how I came to the discovery that autosexual was even a term. Your brain's gonna sit there and think, wow, am I full of myself? And it takes that sitting down and saying, no, because I don't care what other people think of me.
What?
That voice was your conscience, and your conscience was correct. Remember that. What if I'm just full of myself? You are.
What I said.
Just
Remember in the previous segment when I said not everything needs to be classified and not everything needs a name? That's why, because you can rationalize yourself into anything if you have some scientist or psychologist or mental health professional put some fancy words to it.
It doesn't even take that. Like most of the time, we're rationalizing our behavior. Very, very little of our behavior is actually thought out and planned. Most of the time we just react with emotion and then rationalize it later.
I'm looking at one of the comments. It said, narcissist fell in love with his reflection. This is the etymology of narcissism. And one of the autosexuals replied, you're damn right. I am a narcissist. I'm not a pathological narcissist, just someone obsessed with themselves and with sexual desire for myself only. And sometimes I fantasize about doing things with myself. So they just fully, proudly embrace being narcissistic, and that's what we're supposed to accept as an identity now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know, whatever. It's 2024. This is exactly what I expect these days. All right.
Narcissism is a sexual orientation.
It is. It is. All right. Let's go to Super Chats.
Tacti Platy said, I'm so tired of this Diddy psyop. Let's not add to it. We literally don't have time for this small time stuff when there's a genocide going on in Gaza.
Don't forget the femicide in the Congo.
Yeah.
You
didn't
bigot.
mention that. How dare you? Corey Anderson said, I don't believe anyone when they don't make reports immediately. It's all a cash grab. Phil, you're smart. Never be alone with employees.
Never be alone with employees.
Tacti Platy said, Phil, go spill oil. New mech to unlock.
Yeah, new in Helldivers. So.
Pat the Plumber said, take Diddy's key back and give it to 50 Cent.
That would be amazing.
That would be
I mean, 50
great.
Cent did just as much, if not more, for New York. We all know that.
Shane H. Wilder said, a theater kid who hasn't hit puberty yet.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, that
I
Phil,
won't
that was the
stand-
first thing I thought when I saw him. I said, that is the theaterist kid I've ever seen before in my entire life.
I will not stand for this slander.
There's a $20 one there from Mr. Joker, 1128.
Tim Burton's next film is Attack of 50-Foot Woman. Cast Mary. Her attack is just her doing the JoJo Siwa dance that makes Hollywood sink into the ocean. She turns to the camera and says, now that's what I call a pop culture crisis.
Karma's a bitch.
Hollywood will never do it.
JoJo's.
They're too afraid.
They don't have the guts.
She has
don't
her
have
own
guts.
dance.
She has
Does
her own
she?
dance.
Does she?
Have you seen it?
It doubles.
No.
It doubles as a vicious attack depending on how close you are to her.
Well, she does this like stomping thing. It kind of looks like she's having a seizure, but
Also, another thing I want to point out, like one thing that the girl in segment 2 had going for her that the people in segment 3 didn't is a therapist that said, you know, maybe you're the problem sometimes. You know, like that didn't just validate everything you said or did.
Yeah.
That was probably the healthiest thing she had going for her.
well, you don't want to lose customers, you know?
Yep.
Damage Controlling said, the Taylor Swift cameo isn't a meme. That is the most desperate corpo slop shit I've ever heard, LMAO. Corpo slop. I love that.
Corpo Slop would be a great band.
No, I mean, we don't know for sure yet, but it seems likely. Pat the Plumber said, if you say fentanyl in the mirror 3 times, George Floyd appears. Okay. The Rumbling said, actually, Brett, would you say 50 would be worth 350 by the end of the day?
Tree Fitty, yeah.
Tree Fitty.
Yeah.
Alfred the Rock, or sorry, Shane H. Wilder said, Brett, that's why we're all just risen with the tism. Let's effing go.
Maybe the most overdiagnosed, self-diagnosed thing ever nowadays is ADHD and autism.
I saw this post, this screenshot from Reddit this morning of someone on the ADHD subreddit saying, I'm so tired of people telling me that I should make eggs for breakfast. It's way too complicated. And there's this meme going around now that has, you know, allegedly set back mental health awareness discourse by 20 years. That is, y'all can't do anything, can you? Because, you know, if you have ADHD, it's just a monumental task to fry an egg.
I can't think of anything.
Thank you.
I mean, like,
that just sounds like you have depression,
easier.
actually.
Like, what is easier than making eggs? Like toast.
Yeah. Look, I'm one of those people. I struggle with anything new. It's like these days technology is also like consumer technology has been dumbed down so much that anything other than just turning it on can seem like a chore. But you got to figure it out, and just saying sorry I don't have my Adderall isn't an excuse anymore. It's just not. And everybody is like my favorite are the people who talk about how they went to a doctor to be diagnosed with autism and the doctor said no, so they're just self-diagnosed.
It's weird because you don't get any medication for autism. So what's the point? Clout?
Yeah.
And also, I feel like people need to know that, like, just because you feel good when you take Adderall doesn't mean you have ADHD. Mm-hmm. It's just meth.
Look, Tim had a tweet a long time ago. It says, like, you don't have autism, you're just an asshole. And that's true a lot of the time. Like,
yeah.
Yes.
Shane H. Wilder said, "It's all about me. Quit saying I'm doing something wrong. Maybe quit focusing on yourself. I really don't think she understands what love is." Well, you can't make a snap judgment, but, you know, it's not her best moment. Again, shouldn't be on TikTok. The Rumbling said she is punished by what feminists have done. Yeah, in a lot of ways. Started before she was even born.
And she likely doesn't connect those two at all anyways. And I think that a fair argument to be made is that we live in a world now where it's a lot less common to live for a single household to live on one income anyways. So what feminism has bred into society works with the way the economy has gone anyways.
It only works for wealthy women.
Exactly.
Really. Waffles Sensei said to that girl complaining, "Honey, no, I promise that you don't want someone to match your energy."
The best would be like she does this whole video and then she turns the camera and there's somebody in the passenger seat who does a guy who does one just like it. It'd be great.
Society. We live in one. Corey Anderson said, "The woman in the car looks like the type that sends food back to the kitchen after eating half of it." The Stereotypical Stereotype Show said, "Maybe the dude who plays Doctor Who said not to watch Doctor Who could play George Floyd because he's probably going to need a new gig soon. Just a thought."
He'll have to work on his Minnesotan accent.
Yeah, there's always work out there.
Minnesota.
Rhaegar Targaryen said, "What is a meet cute?" It's a rom-com thing, right?
Yeah.
You meet in a cute way?
Yes.
Basically. The Rumbling said, "Yeah, autosexual, people who love their own farts." Basically.
Does that mean if I don't like it, I have an autoimmune disorder?
That's yeah.
Yeah.
Your bigotry is actually a disease, so they can't blame you for it.
Perfect.
That Stanzatastic said, "Would you like seconds, thirds?" She automatically says yes, 1,000 times yes. I don't Jojo see why we need words for everything. Autotistic is gonna be what she identifies as next.
There really are too many words for everything because it then medicalizes people and causes them to fixate on it rather than just saying, I have eccentricities and getting on with your life. You have to fantasize and get really, really overly invested in these things about you that just have always been there.
Shane H. Wilder said, "Autosexual is just people who haven't developed past eros love and are now like narcissists, lusting after their reflections in the water." Hopefully, you know, that doesn't catch on, but regardless of whether people label it, narcissism is still a huge problem in our society. Like the front-facing camera ruined an entire generation, and I'm included in that. Alfred LaRock said, "Cars like women, they look better waxed. Mary Cray." I didn't say that. You said that.
That's not what she said.
That's not my tweet. Gordon Shumway said, "Mechanophilia or mechaphilia is a paraphilia involving a sexual attraction to machines such as bicycles, cars, helicopters, and airplanes."
So they're all going to go see Mad Max tonight.
I don't want to be on a flight with any of those people.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
It's like, this is my salt burn, they all say as they get on the plane.
I definitely have the phobia of machinery underwater, submechanophobia.
Like you'll never get on a submarine, like those people, like that.
I'm talking about like
ocean gatophobia.
Like what is the Disney ride that's through the water and there's like all this machinery underneath it?
And that scares the crap out of you?
It scares me because I think about like accidentally getting my arms sucked into the machinery and dying.
I mean, I was always terrified of getting pulled into the escalator. Because I saw a video when I was young and it traumatized me.
I was terrified.
They're like, don't leave your shoes untied. You're going to die. You're going to die.
I mean, you might though. Gordon Shumway.
I did see this one where like it was like in the Philippines and the guy gets to the top of the escalator and there's just a hole in the ground and he falls through.
I've seen some where like people get sucked under him and like I'm not.
There was a hole in the ground and it led to the mechanics of the escalator and basically just sucked him in and killed him.
Why do you guys watch these videos?
I mean, I didn't go looking for it. It's the internet. Better than looking at myself in the camera.
I guess. Alan Tanas said, I am anti-jab sexual, no cap, faux real. Hail to the show. By the way, St. Floyd died of drugs. Factual. Corey Anderson said, autosexuals, huh? Feet people are that bad, I guess. Aren't that bad? Are that bad?
They're saying like, well, compared to like the people who are attracted to themselves, maybe the feet people are. At least there's somebody else's.
At least the feet people aren't licking their own feet.
Yes, correct.
Oh, God.
You know? Not that John Stewart said mechanophilia, someone who is attracted to their car.
Okay.
Some people are like that. Mr. Anderson said, if I wear a Michael Myers mask and an orangutan costume when I watch myself via a mirror while having the coitus, does that count as autosexuality?
Yes.
Whoa.
That was a lot to take in. You might just be attracted to Michael Myers, though.
You should do it and find out.
I mean, I think he's implying he has.
Yeah.
Shane H. Wilder said, I should note there is nothing wrong with Eros as it is romantic love, but it needs to develop into agape love, a sacrificial love. A love of oneself cannot do that. Agree. Mm-hmm. Pat the Plumber said, Brendan, your dad jokes are showing today.
I guess I'm Brendan in this.
Are you Brendan?
I'm Brendan.
I didn't see any other Brendans.
I don't know what's worse. I don't know what I dislike more. Brent instead of Brett or Brendan instead of Brandon.
Brendan. Isn't Brendan the more like traditional spelling though?
I thought Brandon would be the more traditional spelling and Brendan is just for weirdos.
I thought it was Brandon.
It's Brandon. I knew a Brendan, but you know. That's not his fault. It's his parents' fault. It's not his fault.
You've known a lot of people with weird names. Like every time you mention someone, I'm like, how
I
are
won't
these
be able to remember
real?
that. You'd have to remind me of them because they're not weird to me. But like, yeah, there's been a lot of them.
The Manic Mustache said, late as always and apropos to hags. Back in my day, mommy maxing used to be called cougar hunting. Oh, how the times have changed. I miss those days.
Yeah, see, we were more respectful back in the day. You know, call him a cougar. Don't call him a hag. It's just rude.
Well, I mean, the millennial ladies are only in their 30s. Can they really be considered cougars?
Yes.
Does that count now?
I guess. Still counts. What, does cougars begin at 40?
It seems like it should, yeah. You got to draw a line somewhere.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. Well, we're gonna hang out here until 5, guys. People were very mad because we cut the show off at like 4:59 the other day. And
really, a minute, huh?
Like what?
Every minute counts.
And 4:58 the day before that, and they were like, "I will not stand for this."
Who was that had the problem?
I didn't notice.
I saw it in the chat. I saw some people in the chat.
Name
They were
names.
not happy with
Start
it.
beef.
You guys in the chat, let us know. Were you one of the ones who was complaining about us going off the air at 4:59?
Yeah, if it was it really complaining about 4:59?
Speak now.
4:58.
I really want to know.
Shane H. Wilder said, no, feet people are equally as weird. It's all weird.
I actually say, you know,
less weird. Yeah.
At least it's another. I know the bar is low, but at least it's another person.
It is really strange, but you know, foot fetishes are incredibly common. Like I think I read into it, and there is actually like it's like in your brain structure.
Yeah.
Where you have like I don't know, crossed wires somewhere with like feet in arousal. It's like you're born with it or something.
I hereby say cougars begin at 40, just so that it can hurry women along and say you don't want to. You want to accomplish. You want to get married before you get to that stage, right? You don't want to be the single cougar in her 40s.
Tacti Plati said, I retweeted you, Skibbity Biden. Pull it up, Jamie.
Am I gonna regret
What is
this?
Skibbity Biden? Dare I ask?
I saw somebody in the chat when he mentioned it earlier said that he watched it and spit out his drink. So let's have a look.
Okay. I hope this isn't terrifying.
Oh my God. Okay, here we go. We'll go full screen here so we can see this.
Skibbity Biden.
Skibbity Biden. Skibbity Biden. Skibbity Biden. Joe. Skibbity Biden. Hitler's language. Trump is using Hitler's language. Trump is using Hitler's
Wow.
language. Skibbity.
Skibbity Biden.
So between the student loan debt forgiveness and this, he's just covered all of Gen Z and the millennials.
That almost feels like Colbert was making fun of Joe Biden.
Impressive.
Well, it definitely wasn't complimentary. You know,
That
and
and they just
I
don't know
even
what they're
feel like it
doing.
was making light of the Nazi, using Hitler
did-
talk, blah, blah, blah stuff.
Biden actually said that?
No, I don't know that Biden said it. Biden campaign made a remark about something that Donald Trump that was in one of Donald Trump's ads. It was they grabbed a screen cap of an old newspaper and the word Reich was in it, and they're like, and so Joe Biden was like, oh look, he used the word, it means he's Hitler, blah blah blah, and
It's the first time I've heard that comparison.
like I said, it was a picture from an old about, I think it was like World War II or World War I, and they were talking about like Germany in the interwar time. It was before Hitler even was.
I don't think that was making fun of Biden. I think that's just really, really uneducated, bad pandering.
I kind of.
Colbert is scraping the bottom of the barrel for content, just like us.
The Cole Barrel.
Mr. Anderson said,
barrel.
St. Brendan the Navigator would like a word, Brent.
Okay, well, I have no idea. The Brendan I knew, and I knew two people with the last name Brendan.
Okay.
I knew a Brenton.
Brenton?
Yep.
Now they're all going to call you Brenton.
That's okay.
If you're okay with that. Rhaegar Targaryen said, dragons begin at 60? That's a term?
Okay. I mean, that's, whatever makes the old ladies feel better before they die.
Yeesh. Carnell said, Phil, are you familiar or a fan of John Joseph of the Cro-Mags?
I'm not really a Cro-Mags fan, no. I'm not familiar with John either, but I assume that John probably has political takes that are similar to yours or what you would assume I would like. So, but I don't know, so I can't answer in the affirmative.
Corey Anderson said, Phil, have you decided on a set list for the tour?
We have not decided. We're gonna have at least 2, likely 3 songs released before the tour starts, 2 new ones, and we're debating on how many new songs we put in the set because it's a very short set. We're playing first. I think we've only got like 35 minutes or something like that, so we have to play the songs that people want to hear. So we're gonna play 2 weeks. We're gonna play This Calling, but I don't know what else. So we'll see.
Shane H. Wilder said, Skibbity Biden. Thanks, I hate it.
Yeah.
They ruined Skibbity Toilet for me.
Yeah.
Wait, that ruined Skibbity Toilet for you?
Yeah.
It's kind of like how Biden had the thing recently about hiring a meme manager for $85K a year. Like they're like looking to hire a memetic person for their campaign.
I mean, I would have assumed they already had that.
One, so did
I.
I.
Or a whole team of people that are responsible for memes.
Yeah.
That's really important.
It is very, very important.
I do feel like that was making jokes. I maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
He's making fun of Biden.
I feel like it was making fun of Biden.
He's gonna get blacklisted for that.
Well, I mean, Biden's numbers are very low, and when the numbers are low, there's not a lot. The coattails are not long, and so people stop hanging on to him.
Aren't polls all fake, anyways? They
I
all
mean,
said that Trump was going to lose in 2016. After that, I just stopped paying attention.
Generally, they have not been in all of my life. They had never been that bad. Like that. 2016 was like shocking because I had never seen anything like that in my whole life. So.
Were they like up to the 90% for?
Oh, it was like 95%. They were talking about 99%. Like it was it was so like they were so sure everyone should have been suspicious. Like it should have been like, wait a minute, this is like
They were
this
just
is like,
only polling major cities.
yeah, it's like this is just Saddam Hussein numbers. You know, it's like, oh, you know, Saddam Hussein got 99% of the vote. You know,
I heard that.
Corey Anderson said, "I hate Stephen Colbert. How can people watch that?"
I've never understood how people can watch late night in current year. It makes no sense.
I mean, he was supposedly funny at one point.
I mean, none of it really rings true to me.
when he was doing his shtick, you know, when he was actually like making believe that he was a Republican and it was, you know, like he was kind of in character. But as time went on, he did less and less of the in character, you know, and just kind of stopped.
Ended the poll, ladies and gentlemen, and with 74% of the vote, our fans believe that George Floyd should in fact be played by Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling.
Hell yeah. Make it happen. Gordon Shumway said it was a post-World War I article and Biden's staff has no clue how to research, just like the good people on both sides misquote that launched his candidacy.
That is a misrepresentation. They know how to research. They're just bad actors.
They are a lot of idiots, though.
They're not getting it wrong. They're not getting it wrong. They're getting it wrong on purpose.
Corey Anderson said, "My dog eats poop and has better taste than Colbert."
Fair point. We're getting close to that fourth crisis party before we go, guys.
Reject said, reject.exe. Biden dementia, Trump 2024.
Not bad.
Not sure what that means, but okay. Shane H. Wilder said, "I can't sign up for the Biden meme team. I actually have morals and self-respect."
There you go.
Do you think Trump supporters could make good Biden memes if they worked for the Biden campaign?
Probably. You have to understand. You have to understand the gripes of both sides. The problem is they would actually understand it better than the people who would actually look at them, and then the leftists would be like, "Why isn't there a wall of text on this meme?
I don't get it.
I don't get it.
Where's the wall of text?"
Yeah.
Pat the plumber said, "Make blackface great again."
Look, when they did that Jeremy's Razors ad yesterday, I thought for sure I was looking at Jeremy in blackface. I was like, "Dang, that's bold," but that's not what it was.
It's Siaka.
It's Siaka. Yep, that was. Thought that was what we were
Friend
gonna
of the
see, though.
show.
Yep.
Quiet Inari said, "Want funny Colbert? Watch Strangers with Candy." I don't know what that is.
All right, guys. Well, we have officially made it till 5. I demand a fourth crisis party before we're
It's
done.
5
with the
p.m.
outro,
and we
so-
got a movie to get to.
Yeah, we got
have important business.
Furiosa. So, all right, guys. Before we go, hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed here yet already. Please and thank you, Phil, my friend. Thank you.
Yeah, you're quite welcome. I am Phil That Remains official on, I'm Phil That Remains official on Instagram. I'm Phil That Remains on Twix. The band is All That Remains. You can catch us this summer on the Destroy All Enemies tour with Megadeth and with Mudvayne. We have a new single out. The song is called Divine. You can check it out on Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, what else? Deezer.
That exists.
Amazon Music. Yeah, you know, the internet. And don't forget, the left lane is for crime.
All right. There's one more there from Rhaegar Targaryen.
At Pat the Plumber, Justin Trudeau is doing his part.
Yes, he did do his part.
What does that mean?
For blackface.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Anyway, you can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived.
All right, guys, if you would like to follow me, I am on Instagram and on Twix at Brett Dastovic on both of those platforms. The show is here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, noon Pacific, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you would like to listen to this podcast rather than watch it, and if you want to follow the show on social media, we are on Twix at PopCulture_show, Facebook and not TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis, and on Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. Guys, we will be back with another episode tomorrow. We will see you then.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye now.